Hello and welcome to Double Trouble Trainers. My name is Adam and today we're going to do a quick recap of my most recent Pokemon League challenge. The deck I took to this challenge was SLOWKING, a deck that I've been playing a lot recently. For those unfamiliar with the deck, the main aim here is to use SLOWKING's Seek Inspiration attack, which requires 1 Psychic Energy and 1 Colorless Energy. Seek Inspiration will force us to discard the top card of the deck, and if that top card was a non-rule box Pokemon, we can use any one of its attacks regardless of their energy cost. There are 4 main attackers here that would otherwise be quite difficult to get into play, but with SLOWKING they're a bit broken. Kyurem does 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon at the cost of discarding all energy attached to SLOWKING. Quite often this means we can snipe the bench and wipe critical pieces off the board, such as Solrock Lunatone engines or early stage 1 or basic Pokemon. We've got Annihilate, who will knock out your opponent's active Pokemon, but also the SLOWKING. This is useful if you want to take out really beefy Pokemon, like Mega Venusaur for example, and take a 3-for-1 prize trade. We've also got Haxorus, which will knock out any basic Pokemon, or do 160 damage to an evolution Pokemon. And finally, we've got Regigigas, which will do 330 damage to any Terra Pokemon, or 100 damage otherwise. To get cards on the top of the deck, we'll be using the Academy at Night Stadium. This lets us put 1 card from our hand on the top of the deck each turn. As a fallback, we also have Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. This lets us search the deck for any 2 cards, and then we can put them on the top of our deck in any order. We can also leverage Cyphers with Xatu's ability. Not only does this give us acceleration of psychic energy, but it lets us draw the top 2 cards of the deck. This is effectively a deck search for 2 cards, as long as we have a psychic energy in hand and a Pokemon on the bench to attach it to. Now, there are many SLOWKING builds, and I've tried many. I was running an Enriching Energy build with 4 Hilda with success, but switched last minute to a copy of Secret Box, as my partner needed that copy of Enriching Energy to play Alakazam. I'm not super settled on this build, as it's between an Arven heavy or a Hilda heavy build that gets played most, but it served me well in the league for the most part. There's a balance to be made in getting the right cards to set up as soon as possible with Buddy Buddy, and hitting the Hildas to ensure we can swing at the right time by getting the right energies from the deck. In a few weeks, Pokepad will become standard legal and the deck will have a better time, being able to pick out any of its main attackers from the deck with no cost and no discards. One thing to note here is that the League Challenge was on the 21st of February, so Ascended Heroes is not legal yet. That means no Pokepad. After April, we lose a few key cards like Xatu and Arven, but SLOWKING and the crew will survive until next year. Now, there are a few cards you really don't want to see when playing SLOWKING, and you'll find out shortly as I recap through my matchups. Starting off with round 1 against Sean, who was playing Grimmsnarl Frostlass. I managed to get lucky in the first round, Sean setting up with a monkey and bricking a bit with his hand. I set up reasonably quickly and managed to Super Cybolt the monkey, taking 1 prize. Sean pieces together a Grimmsnarl in the active and knocks out my SLOWKING. I managed to get another ready with Xatu and Jet Energy and then knock it out with Annihilate. At this stage, Sean didn't have much left on the bench, 2 Morgrim and a Frostlass. He promoted the Morgrim and passed. I managed to get another SLOWKING ready and managed to get lucky with a Kyurem in hand and do 110 damage to the rest of his bench, taking my last 3 prizes for the win. In game 2, we both get a decent start turn 1 until my favourite green friend hits Sean's bench, Shaman. For those unaware, Shaman has an ability which will block damage to your bench's non-EX Pokemon. This is bad news for SLOWKING because Kyurem does damage instead of damage counters. That means I can't put damage with Kyurem on the bench on non-EX Pokemon. This makes the matchup significantly harder for me as I don't have a good way to maintain a healthy prize map. My main methods of knocking out Grimmsnarl are the Annihilate and TM Devo, but ideally I want to be playing with damage spread on the bench to secure a multi-prize turn. Needless to say, I fall behind on prizes and lose the round. Round 3 is unfortunately more of the same for me, but worse. Sean starts off quickly with Secret Box and gets a good head start. Unfortunately, I brick and can't get set up before the Shaman does finally hit the bench. I also managed to get a Shaman on the bench and have a Xatu and Slowpoke set up. Now, Sean gusted my Shaman and knocked it out with Grimmsnarl. We both agreed that the damage would probably go through to the Xatu on the bench, and he managed to knock it out with the rest of the damage from the Frostlass and Monkey Dories. Now, this was a mistake on my part, as even though Shaman was in the active and knocked out, it still would have blocked that bench damage, even if it was knocked out that turn. After this, I failed to recover quickly, and Sean won the last round, leading to a 1-2 loss for me. In round 2, I was playing against Evan, who's playing Absol Kanga. This is usually a good matchup for me. In game 1, Evan opens with Kangaskhan and 2 Monkey Dory on the bench, but bricks a bit. He manages to get Absol out and Turbo Energizers to load it up. I managed to get set up quickly and managed to take a knockout on the Kangaskhan with Haxorus for 3 prizes. Evan bricks and passes. I managed to get a Kyurem out and take out both Monkey Dories and start loading up damage on the Absol. All is looking good for me until Evan attaches Mist Energy to Absol. This is bad news. Mist Energy blocks all effects of attacks to the attached Pokemon. Now for Slowking, this doesn't directly block Seek Inspiration, but it does block Haxorus and Annihilate, which both don't do damage, but take knockouts with an effect of an attack. I'm in trouble here because I don't have a way to get rid of that Mist Energy, and I don't have any attackers to deal enough damage to knock out the Absol. Ideally, I'd run Enhanced Hammer or one of the 250 hitters, but I didn't. I tried my luck with the Cybele and managed to hit twice for a total of 240 damage, leaving the Absol on 40 HP. Sean plays Latias on the bench and pennies up the Absol with all attached cards, including the Mist Energy. He then plays the Absol again and attaches the Mist Energy, and we rinse and repeat until I'm in a situation where I can't knock out the Absol and lose the match. The second game was almost the same. I managed to knock out an active monkey with Kyurem, loading damage into a benched Petron and Latias. I then managed to knock those both out with a Kyurem next turn for 4 prizes, leaving me on 1 prize. Guess who is left for me to knock out? Yep, it's the Absol with the Mist. We repeat the dance from the last match, and unfortunately, I can't take the win. Sad times. 0-2 loss for me. In round 3, I'm up against my brother Matt. Now, my brother Matt's very new to the TCG. He's more of a collector, but I dragged him to the league for fun. Now, Matt was playing Cynthia's Garchomp and unfortunately couldn't get set up quickly enough in both games. I managed to wipe the board both times with Kyurem before he could get those beefy chomps into play. A 2-0 win for me. Finally, in my 4th round, I pair against Rob with Mega Lucario. In game 1, I managed to get a solid start, landing a Kyurem on a benched Riolu and a Solrock Lunatone engine for 3 prizes. Then I brick a little bit, trying to get set up while Rob destroys my Pokemon with Mega Lucario. Rob's on 1 prize left, I'm on 3. Somehow I managed to find the pieces and get an Annihilate attack in, knocking out both the Slowking and the Mega Lucario. This puts us into sudden death, as both of us took all our prizes at the same time. We checked with our Pokemon Professor Steven, and after some rule checking, we proceed to sudden death. We set up as normal with 6 prizes. The first person to take a prize or a prize advantage wins. Rob manages to get the Solrock Lunatone out turn 2, and has Boss and Fighting Gong, which will swing for a knockout on either the Natu or a Slowpoke that I had on the bench. So that was Rob's game win. In the final round, Rob started targeting my Xatu, my single Xatu, because I prized the other one, and I couldn't recover quick enough from this and ended up losing the round. A 0-2 loss. So, lessons learned. Probably I need to run at least 1 Enhanced Hammer, perhaps 2. With Zard not being played as much now, I could have perhaps swapped the Regigigas for a 250 hitter and managed to knock out that Mega Absol. But we live and we learn. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and me rambling about my experience at the last Pokemon League. Let me know in the comments what deck you took to your last Pokemon League, and if you're a Slowking player, let me know how you would have tackled these matchups. Thanks for listening, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.